Everybody ready?
Yep. Let's go.
Lothra, Lothcat, Lothwolf, run. Pick a path, and all is done.
War Midwest Guys presents Star Wars Rebels HQ.
Continue to allow this war to be fought on the Empire's terms. You are going to lose.
All paths are coming together now.
As long as we're together, we've got a chance.
At least we'll go down fighting. It's time to get to work.
Your TIE defender is at risk. Krennic has been quite persuasive about his own project, Stardust.
Ezra, it's not whether or not we fight.
It's how we choose to fight that matters. I know, Kanan.
We were meant to be Jedi so we could be here now when Lothal needs us most.
All the paths are coming together, right?
I'm just not sure if we're going to like where they lead.
But we never imagined it would end like this.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Forward Midwest Guys Presents Star Wars Rebels HQ. Today we'll be reviewing Season 4, Episodes 7 and 8, Kindred and Crawler Commanders. Here to help me do that today is Mr. Brian Eckenbauer.
Hey, what's up, what's up?
What's going on, B?
Not much, man.
Okay, and my brother Aaron's back.
Hey, man.
How's it going, dude?
Yeah, doing fine.
All right, cool. Well, we got a lot to cover today. We've got 2 different episodes to cover, obviously, so let's get right on into it. So this episode pretty much starts off with what I like to call meditation on Lothal. I guess Kanan kind of believes that there's a deeper reason or purpose that they're on Lothal, like they've always been drawn here before.
Well, he seems concerned about it. Like, he seems like they just keep coming back. Like, it seems more than coincidental before.
Right, and he even says that, even before we found Ezra, which we didn't get to see, but they said that they're going to Lothal, and
they kept running missions there.
Yeah, for whatever reason. So although he's not sure entirely why just yet, he seems to be really drawn to the planet for some reason, or as the group is, or whether it's the Force leading them there. He just doesn't think it's mere coincidence, I guess.
Yeah.
So, what do you think, Brian? Do you think it's mere coincidence, or do you think there's a deeper meaning?
That's hard to say. There's so many things in Rebels that we think may have a deeper meaning that don't. Stuff that we just go right over, and there's much deeper meaning. So it's up in the air for me. Gotcha.
All right. Well, let's move on to finding the hyperdrive. This is last episode they got the hyperdrive off the Defender along with the data recorder, and they hid the hyperdrive, right? So
behind the rock.
Yeah, behind the rock, and it's Thrawn is not entirely. Governor Price is sent out to recover it, and Thrawn doesn't really trust her too much anymore.
It's hard to. Everybody around him has failed him, so it's kind of hard to trust anybody.
At the same time, Thrawn technically didn't succeed in last season either.
No, but that's what I'm saying though. But it's one of those. It's one of those. You're only as good as your weakest link. Yeah. And everybody he puts
in there
in any kind of situation, they always fail. So
right.
Well, I mean, in their defense, none of them have, magic force-wielding abilities.
True. But they are the Empire over a bunch of little rebels.
And it is, and we've kind of talked about this before, it's like Thrawn can plan for anything except for the Force, because he doesn't understand the Force. So
that's true. He does. He's very strategic, and he can plan for almost everything except
the Force. So, but anyway, getting back to Price, he's lost confidence in her, and so... we get introduced to his assassin. He sends out Rook, as they like to say. Rook.
Yeah.
There's a very heavy emphasis on the Rook.
It is. It's more of, it's not, we call it, everybody else says Rook. He goes, Rook.
Yeah, it's almost like he tries to do like the Mexican R twirl with his tongue. He's like, Rook.
Or yeah.
It's a very Spanish sort of thing.
Kind of reminds me of Spaceballs. Rook. You can read it. No, just clear my throat.
Just clear my throat.
Also, I did forget to mention the Lothcat returns and helps Ezra find the hyperdrive.
Yeah,
so
essentially, like him and Zeb are out wandering around. It's like, where'd you put it? I don't know. It was dark. We just crashed. And then the Lothcat's like, here it is.
Here it is. It's interesting. The Force really seems to be helping out strongly through the animals, through Ezra right now. And it's unusually strong, I think.
Yeah.
And we'll get into a little bit more of that, but it's definitely the theme so far this season anyway.
Yeah, I mean, especially once we go later in the episode with, like, the wolves and such.
Yeah, exactly. So let's talk about Rook a little bit. He's another Legends character brought into Rebels canon. Again, pulling from what they like and need out of the EU and reintroducing the canon. It's something that Rebels has done in the past with Thrawn, especially. And now we're seeing his trusty sidekick assassin. Now, there's been a lot of variations of Rook in the comics. He's more reptilian, I would say. In the other comic renditions and other artists, there's actually even one where he has more like a skull looking face, which is really creepy. But in this one, they've gone for more of a the way he runs is very ape-like esque, I guess. Would you say, Aaron? I mean,
yeah, it's almost like kind of seeing a gorilla charge at something.
Yeah, exactly. Except he's very fast, very nimble. So it's kind of like an ape meets a monkey, really. They kept some of his gear is similar, but not all of it is. It's a variation on the leather. Even he's kind of a combination of a gray alien, with what the comic version would be of Rook. It's kind of a mirror the two together.
It's understandable to kind of adapt it to kind of make it fit the medium as well. So
right,
that kind of makes sense.
Yeah. So
that, and even if you kind of notice his voice, it almost sounds like something like how DC does Grodd's voice.
Yes, that's a
they
very good
very
thing.
deep sort of thing with it.
Right.
He definitely seemed like he was a gorilla type, gorilla-esque.
Well, and to be fair, he is actually voiced by Warwick Davis, who was in Willow. He was Wicket, the Ewok, and has done other things for Lucasfilm. He's a Star Wars Celebration host, and has done other projects as well. But they obviously took his voice and made it very deep through the synthesizer and whatnot. I kind of like this adaptation, though. He's much more nimble. He's much more fast. Like in the comics and in the book, he was all about. He would practice his stalking skills. He was more of a stalker. He was a reptilian, and he would sneak up on people, even in the Empire, to keep his stalking skills.
Yeah, so he
sharp.
was more like ninja-like in the comics.
Kind of, yeah. In this one, he's naturally stealthy and naturally.
Yeah, it almost gives him sort of like a hunter sort of feel to it. Like even if you just kind of see him like sniffing around, it's like Kraven the Hunter from like the Spider-Man comics.
Yes, almost. Yeah, pretty much. In fact, as soon as we see him, the first time we see him, he's smelling the air, and he's like, "I smell Lasat."
Right.
And some other people are with him. He's like a part bloodhound. In fact, I almost wish they made his nose a little bit bigger. It would have looked a little weird, but since he's got such a heightened sense of smell, I
mean, you do have some animals in the wild that don't necessarily have like kind of large noses, but have the kind of high sense.
High sense. It could be. But yeah, it was. So I kind of like this. He's. I really like him actually. I liked him better than I thought I would like him, and I even like his main weapon, which is the. I forget the name of it now, but it's the staff that the.
It's like an electric spear sort of thing.
It's electric on both sides, and it's the same thing the guards for in episode 3, the guards for General Grievous. Those are robots. It was the same thing, the twirling sticks and the electric on both sides. And we see that when he combats Ezra with his lightsaber. It's something that can go up against a lightsaber. So
yeah, it's interesting because like the longer the Star Wars universe goes on, the more you have these random little materials here and there that can kind of survive what at one point pretty much took out everything. Right,
exactly. And it's we like I said, we've seen this before in episode 3. We see it again reintroduced in episode 7 with that weird baton that the First Order trooper has, and it looks like
or whatever.
And it looks like we're going to see it again from the trailer we saw for episode 8, even. So, definitely strong influence, as it were. So, all right, let's move down to the next scene. I just like to call it tracking down the rebels. As soon as Rook's able to put that little tracking device. Brian, I think you thought he was actually something they were going to blow him up with.
Yeah, at first it looked like it was going to be like something that he could remotely detonate.
Yeah, that's something like Boba Fett would do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Not something that was going to blow them up, but kind of take out their electronics or whatever.
Right.
Short circuit them. But yeah, and then it just turned out to be a tracker. I was kind of disappointed with that. It might be.
You were kind of hoping it was dual purpose. It tracks them for a while, then it blows them up.
Yeah, either that or it just was just like you could just zap it and it short circuits the whole system of the operating system on it. But that could be why I didn't care for that.
Maybe
not as much as like I care for like Boba Fett because he has cool gadgets and stuff.
Before that speeder chase, though, the one thing I forgot, I missed this in my notes, so I apologize. But the one thing that seems to catch Rook off guard is that Ezra's a Jedi. Like he gets force pushed and he's like Jedi,
right? Because he had he had no knowledge of them even being there. So as soon as he sees it, he's like, "Crap."
Yeah,
it was like now I have to change my tactic.
Yeah, exactly. It's like so either he wasn't fully briefed or he just didn't know it was Ezra. I'm not sure which.
Well, he was
going on there
hunting down Zeb,
right?
And he ran into Ezra,
right? So
even if he was aware of a Jedi being in like mess ups like for the Empire before, he may not have assumed he would have been in that particular instant.
Yeah,
They're Jedis are rare breeds at this point.
Well, they're extremely rare breeds at this point.
So
there's maybe 4, if you count Luke, 5.
Yeah,
in the whole universe. So,
I mean, it's kind of fair when you run into one and you're surprised.
Yeah, that's true. I gotta give you credit there. That's cool. I did like the speeder chase scene overall. It was a little bit of back and forth. You got like I said, you had the lightsaber and the staff going back and forth on it.
Yeah, you didn't see Rook just like running into a rock.
Yeah.
Like he actually is capable of like, oh, I probably need to avoid that. Okay.
And I liked Ezra's tactic, blowing up the rock, and then when he came over, he shot him down and basically outsmarted him. So, so I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I enjoyed that scene.
So, and then of course Zeb makes a fool out of Price and the troopers as usual.
Right.
Even though it's Price that's kind of holding Rook back the whole time, even though she's the one that's the moron, really. But
that's kind of what we see out of the Empire eventually with a lot of its people. It's pretty much what Grievous was for like the first 2 seasons.
Yeah, of Clone Wars, you mean? Yeah. It's kind of like that they're just made from that cookie cutter mold and they can't see outside of it. That's why Thrawn's trying to throw a specialist at it. But she's in command of him, so she kind of keeps pulling him back. So we never really get to see Rook in full stride. All right, so back at the Rebel camp, Sabine basically says, "I'll try to adapt the hyperdrive to the U-wing," and Kanan's like, "Oh, this is an old ship, probably not going to work." And of course, Hera's like, "Well, we got to get the data to the Rebel command, etc., etc."
So it's essentially this is all we have to work with. So
you got to make
your best.
Yeah, basically, right? It's the Rebels. That's what the Rebels do best, right? It's make do with what they got, whatever they can find, and scrounge and scrap together. It really is the perfect example of the used universe star. In the future, in the past, but yet in the future, and yet used. It's that whole cool thing that is Star Wars. So, and then Kanan sees his opening and goes right back into the whole relationship thing with Hera. He's like, "When do you think you've done enough for the rebellion?"
Yeah, well, I mean, they've been fighting the rebellion for a little bit.
Yeah,
you get burnt out of it, I'm sure.
And Hera's like, "Well, I guess when everybody's free and everything." No, I mean when you're done, when the rebellion's over. And she's never thought about it before. Well, she's so caught up.
Well, she says she's never thought about it, but that was an awful quick transition to that almost kiss.
Yeah.
So I mean, you could tell she's thought about it. And what I thought was really funny.
Yeah.
Is when he picked up when he said, what about love? She's like, "Well, I really thought about it." And he picks up her hand. It's almost as if he's showing her her ring finger.
Yeah. I didn't really pick up on that part.
Yeah, so it was. I felt it was one of those like in the previous season we got the that part where he meets the father.
Yeah, he's all nervous and stuff.
Yeah, so I mean maybe that was kind of like they thought. You could tell they thought about it.
Yeah,
but the rebellion has kind of taken over her life.
Right. Exactly. But anyway, yeah. So they go to kiss again and basically cock blocked by Zeb in an Imperial transport.
Right.
I mean, momentarily.
No, right, because he didn't call it in saying, "Oh yeah, I guess I should have called it in that I had a Rebel transport."
And thank God, whatchamacallit's a bad shot.
I know, right? He almost took him out.
Jeez, Pete.
Ryder was a bad shot.
Either that, or you can just, thank Zeb's quick reflexes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, can you imagine how tragic that scene would have been had he actually got Zeb?
It would have been an interesting way to kind of play that up. Like, oh, you just blasted Zeb's head off because he got the thing for you. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think that would go over well with toy sales, much less the kiddies.
Yeah.
But they do kill a lot of people in this series, so...
Yeah, we were talking about that. We were watching them tonight.
Yeah.
They kill a lot of people in this series. I mean, like you pointed out, it's not so much that you see them actually die, but those of us that are old enough, we know, like, Giant Rock just fell on dude, he died.
Right.
Three of them fell off the satellite dish, and the last one when he fell off, and you're like, oh my god, they're just killing people left and right.
Troopers are going down right now.
And there is no, like...
Well, I mean,
remorse.
It's kind of like the Death Star blowing up. Lots of people died on it. You just don't see the blood of it.
Right, exactly. But that, but that's not a kid show.
No, it's not. And this is, but yeah, they go very dark for a kid's show, really.
Yes, they do.
Well, I mean, historically, there's a lot of kid shows where deaths can be, a prominent theme in it. Like,
yeah, and I know we've talked about this in past podcasts, but yeah, for a Disney XD show anyway.
I'm just saying, like...
For a Disney, Star Wars...
Yeah.
That's...
Yeah.
I mean... Lion King had, like, when the main characters die off, like,
20
minutes into it.
But that's kind of like a
and
movie.
then, like, the kid runs away with PTSD for, like, 20 years.
Yeah, but, I mean, that's a movie, and it's one death, and it's... You see him get totally trampled, so he's just kind of... Anyway, I don't want to get into a Lion King podcast, but yeah, so... but yeah, they do kill off a lot of people. Yeah. So, all right. So obviously, Rook has used his little tracking device and has tracked them down on the camp. And when we come back to the camp, they are Sabine has got the hyperdrive in, and she's like, "Well, flip a coin, I guess. 50-50. Might work, might not." Hera's like, "Well, I trust your work, but." Still, it's kind of on a wing and a prayer and a hope, as it always is for the
right. It's one of those like, well, it should hold together, but I'm gonna say it's, I'm gonna put out there that I don't know if it will, just because that way
it is, held in place with a little bit of duct tape.
That way, I'm covering my ass. Is basically what it is.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like, okay, well, if it does this, make sure you hit the jukebox on the right side, and it might, might or might not work. But yeah, so you got that going on, and Kanan finally gets his kiss. He's like, Hera, I don't want you to think, and blah blah blah. And all of a sudden, she grabs him and takes
charge.
Takes charge, and
then what's funny because like they're all getting ready to battle the incoming assault, and Sabine turns around and sees him kissing, and she's like.
She slaps him.
She bumps Zeb, and Zeb turns around. And he's like, "Oh yeah,
there it is.
Yeah,
finally."
It's pretty funny.
They're all like, "Finally."
It has this weird kind of get a room sort of vibe to it.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, like you would assume, like there would be more of that sort of thing, like off screen beforehand, right? Like it's weird that it's like so out of place.
You would think so, but then they stop, and she takes like half a step backwards and goes, "May the force be with you," and she can barely get it out, and the door closes like right in front of her face. And I was like.
Boy, she's all about the dramatic action, isn't she?
Okay.
At least in there going, oh, golly, gee. All love struck and everything. But yeah.
You see like a fun little smirk on his face.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, he's kind of, well, all right, cool. But let me ask you this, because it is kind of a big scene, and they do make a big deal out of it because they've been building up to it. Do you guys think this is the last time we'll see them together, Aaron? What do you think?
No.
No? Brian?
No.
No?
I mean, keep in mind that we're recording this after we've already seen 2 more episodes.
Right. But keeping it in context.
Right. But even still, at this point, I still thought that they would see each other again. Mm-hmm. Because I still envision that what we're going to see is we're going to see Kanan's death in Hera's arms.
Ooh, yeah, that would be.
I really.
I mean, it does kind of put up some red flags, like how they've been building up.
Yeah, I mean, I really think even if it's just as they meet again, just long enough for Hera to come to be with him as he dies
as he passes.
You know what I mean? Like I still think it's gonna. We need that. I think for this series.
Well,
but I really think that's how it's going to play out.
Well, it really has the feel of a tragic storyline between the two. It's like I wouldn't say Romeo and Juliet necessarily, but there's definitely a
love that could have been.
Love that could have been kind of thing kicking.
Oh, I agree.
What do you think, Aaron?
Well, I mean, it has the potential for it. It's just whether they want to go that route with it.
Yeah.
I mean, it does kind of give the flags for it.
I think so. It's like right in your face, but I don't know. Well, guess we'll have to wait and see. So Hera flies away as the Empire approaches, and she gets through the hype. I really thought that was cool how she got through the blockade, hyper driving her way through the bay of one of those construction spheres.
Oh, I just love seeing like just the small little burst of fire through the construction thing.
Yeah,
like you see almost like a sonic boom through it.
And again, killing stormtroopers or stormtroopers just standing there looking at each other like,
I know,
what the hell is she doing?
And then when she comes through, and then you see everything blow out the other side. I'm fairly positive you can make out some stormtroopers.
Oh yeah,
and like when I see that,
pieces of them.
Yeah, and every time I see that, like because I've seen that episode like 2 or 3 times now.
Yeah,
and like I picture in my head one of the stormtroopers as he's blowing out the side of it has that like that Goofy when Goofy falls off a cliff. Like I get that really? as the stormtroopers coming through. Blow out, like,
just make it a bit more Disney-ish.
Yeah.
I mean, it's amusing in Rebels, but people are going to be pissed when they start adding that shit to like episode 8 and 9.
Yeah, exactly.
Wait. Why did you make it seem like Mickey Mouse a Sith Lord? I mean, it kind of fits. Have you
did
seen
you put on your Force ears yet?
Ha!
The Mouse Troopers have come.
All right. That's enough Disney bashing for now.
Oh, I'm not even bashing it.
I'm not either.
But that scene though, that's another thing. One of the things I do like about Rebels, like I've said in other podcasts, is their the vehicles. And watching the vehicles interact with other things that we've seen live. Mm-hmm. Like so, we've seen TIE fighters, we've seen the Star Destroyers and everything, X-wings. We've seen them all. And watch them on screen do some of the stuff that we've wanted to see them do, especially like in the original trilogy. You're watching and you're like, all they're really doing is just flying straight, and you're like,
slightly to the
you're like, but with my toy in my hand, I can make them do this, and I can make them do this, and you can make them do loop-de-loops and everything else. And then now we're getting to see that kind of stuff. We're like, hell yeah!
It's funny you say that because every time I watch the original Star Wars and they blast out of Tatooine on the Millennium Falcon, and they're about to be cut off by a couple Star Destroyers, and they go, look for that Star Destroyer, and Han's like, it's all right, I know a couple maneuvers, and it's just the Falcon's just going in a straight line, slowly drifting to the right, and you're like, where's the maneuvers?
Yeah. What maneuver is that? Like I think their biggest maneuver in Star Wars was when they did they're flying across the planet and they do like the loop-de-loop to come back down and go into the cave.
The loop-de-loop to the cave. They got a lot better by Empire because they had a lot more money.
Right.
And that's when you start seeing the Falcon dive and do loop-de-loops and do the stuff that you did with it, with the toys and stuff. But but it's just funny you brought that up. That constantly in my head because every time I see that, like, it's all right, I know some maneuvers. Slowly drifting to the left.
Yeah. It's like you're on the expressway.
Yeah.
There's traffic jam. It's okay. I know maneuvers. And you just kind of slide over to the fast lane.
Go around. Yeah. So, I don't know. But the rebels get pinned down. They're obviously overwhelmed by the Imperial assault on their camp. They blow up their Imperial transport.
Well, after the line where he's like, all we have is this transport and the spike. And he goes... And like as soon as he says it,
they blow up the
transporter. They blow up the transporter, and then Zeb's like, "How many can we fit on a bike?"
In fact, this whole scene had a lot of comedy in it because they go out to follow the Lothwolves show up. Ezra's like, "Do you know the way?" And they go off, they follow it, and Zeb's like, "It's okay. It's usually a good thing when it gets strange." And Ryder's like, "How have you guys lived this long?"
Yeah,
it's just classic, excellent.
That is why they've lived that long. It's because they're so like just unpredictable from the Empire standpoint.
Well, they are.
Like, it does some weird shit, and the Empire's like, "Did you what? What happened?"
Right, because they don't understand the.
They followed a wolf into a portal. How? When has there been portals on this planet?
Well, outside of even be honest, even the Sith probably wouldn't understand the portals, to be honest, because that's kind of the living force kind of thing. But outside of Vader and the Emperor, there's really nothing. Nobody knows much about the Force.
Like outside of like the Squales doing like hyperdrive and
well,
like apparently
that's
the
not
wolves
the
can make portal thing.
Yeah, I mean, but we'll get to the portal.
At what point has the Force created portals?
It's actually, as far as I know, That's new.
Okay.
But we'll get to it in a minute. There is some similarities I'll talk about.
All right.
So but some good comedy there between Ryder. How have you people lived this long?
Mm-hmm.
Price holds back Rook and calls in her bombers. The wolves make a stop, and they want to make sure that Kanan is towards the front, and they want to make sure he's there. So they make a point of it. Before we go any further, the lead white wolf is looking dead at Kanan. So right away, from past episodes, it said DUME. It says DUME a lot in this episode. Again, they're making...
It's mainly what it says.
It's the only thing it says so far. So they're definitely making a connection that Kanan and this wolf are somehow connected or have some sort of future together.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
there is some connection.
Some sort of a connection, yeah. So, and I thought it was just kind of interesting that they made it a point for the wolves to stop while they're basically running from the Empire, and they want to make sure that Kanan's there. So, just their way of saying, hey, FYI, big connection coming. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think there's anything else to it? Or
Well, I thought it was kind of amusing. They actually stopped while the mountains around them are being bombed. So if they were actually outside, just on the actual plains of it, they probably would have been blown up.
Well, they would have, but this was right before they started bombing. Brian, what do you think? Do you think there's anything more to it? Or
Yeah, I mean, there's got to be something. I mean, Kanan does say... I can sense a strong connection to the Force.
That's later, but yeah.
But it's the same,
right. But he says, I can tell they're staring at me.
Yeah,
he's staring
at me.
He's
like Ezra says, they're looking at you, and he says, I know. And it's just one of those, it's like, all right, where is this connection? Like, where is Filoni taking us with this? Mm-hmm. Because there's obviously a reason
to it.
There's a reason to it. What's funny is I wonder if we're going to be like, it was right there in front of us. How did we not see it when it happens? You know what I mean?
Right. All the foreshadowing, and we didn't pick up on it. That could happen, especially with Filoni. So you never know. And Filoni's the big on the wolves, so he's got his whole wolf pack thing. So, So they proceed into the cave. Then the Imperials start the bombing, and they see these drawings, these cave drawings of people following the wolves. And I don't know about you guys. Not only do you see wolves and people, but inside these people, it looks like stars to me, or star maps, or star constellations.
It looks very similar to a constellation.
Yeah.
The people not so much. For me, the people not so much. But definitely the wolf.
Yeah.
You could definitely make that distinction, the constellation map type of thing in the wolf.
Right.
And then you even see the portal.
Mm-hmm. Well, not at first, but yeah, eventually.
Well, you can see it as soon as they walk in the thing before Sabine even turns her light on.
Yeah.
You can see
on the drawings.
The drawings. You can see the portal, and you're like, what are we looking at? What is this?
Right. It's pretty cool. And so they join hands because the wolf kind of looks at him, and Ezra picks up on it.
It looks like, grab my tail.
And so they walk, so the wolves open up into this, giant blue force portal, and it looks a lot like... because the wolf stepping on in space. It looks like space. And this reminded me of when Ezra first gets his Kyber crystal from Yoda in the Jedi Temple. Suddenly he's surrounded by nothing but space. Remember when he did the Tron moment?
Right,
He had that going on. And then the other time is when he talks to Yoda in last season. When they are... So it's almost like a... to me, it's like another force plane of existence.
I could see that, yeah, but it was really strange. Two parts of that was strange. Well, not just beside the fact that they're walking through space, but when the wolf steps, it looks like it's water, wet
puddles,
puddles as it was walking, which I thought was kind of weird. And then the fact that as they're walking, they pass out.
They pass out by the end of it. Yeah, I think it's like being overcome, or it's kind of like when it knocks out Sabine. Same thing. It's like, and we see Kylo Ren do it to Rey in Episode 7, and
being overwhelmed by the Force.
Overwhelmed by the Force. Whatever you want to call it.
It was just kind of strange. I was like, okay,
yeah, but Aaron, I don't know if you know that. To me, it just reminded me of another. Plane of existence, and I'm going to use a really strange movie, but and I know you're kind of big into mysticism and stuff in different religions, but Remember, and of all movies, I know it's a stupid one to use, but Beverly Hills Ninja,
Yeah,
where they both meet in like this this separate
it's like
plane
a different plane of dimension.
Thing. But
it's like an astral plane.
Yeah, that's so. I know there's some basis in some religions for like an astral plane of existence.
I can't remember where off the top of my head, but yeah, you do have it in some variants of Eastern mysticism.
Yeah, so
not quite like a Shambhala sort of place, but like just a astral plane.
So this is what this I think this is it's, or at least it's tied into it, because we see, like I said, we've seen Ezra and Yoda in voice form, and we've seen Ezra and Yoda physically, even though they're two separate places meet and talk.
Yeah.
Here, so.
So you view that as being like them both connecting on an astral level?
Yes, using through the Force, in the Force, literally, maybe, I don't want to say ascending necessarily, but kind of, in a way, temporarily. I don't know.
I mean,
how else to...
Ascending might be a word, but that kind of suggests a more like permanent thing, like
that's why I said
spiritual transformation sort of
thing.
Yeah,
that's why I said maybe just a temporary kind of. But anyway, so
but it'd be something close to like an out of body experience. In New Age
maybe kind of thing. But yeah, so that's kind of what's going on here. So, and then the cool part, it was freaky to me, but it was also cool, is how the Lothcat is just sitting in the plane, and it looks down through the plane and actually sees them kind of existing in that Force temporal.
Well, it's like the Lothcat's on the astral plane and then descends down to like
their
normal level of existence.
Yeah, it's like it sees.
So it's like it can jump back and forth as
it's like it can see through the wheat field and sees it underneath them. Yeah. And then jumps, like you said, jumps from one plane of existence to the other, much like the wolves do through the portal.
Well, it's interesting because, like, with the Lothcat, you don't see any sort of portal at all. It really is just kind of going back and forth at will. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, you later on see the wolves kind of just go through the wall.
Yeah.
So that might actually be a very similar thing there as well.
Right. It's like
the portal might just be necessary to transport things that aren't themselves.
Not themselves, that have the ability to manipulate it much easier and do it all the time.
Yeah.
Probably. Which is probably why nobody's been able to see it, because I remember they started the season, I think they said nobody's seen a Loth wolf in like 100 years or something. So maybe that's why, because they can...
Yeah, because they're just not existing on that plane.
Right, exactly. All right, so the Loth wolf basically wakes up Ezra, and and they wake up, and they're suddenly... Sabine kind of uses what I like to call her sudden... She pulls out what I guess would be an iPad or something. Anyway, she takes some measurements as they walk outside, and she goes, "You're not going to believe this, but we were in the northern hemisphere. Now we're in the southern hemisphere. So we just moved halfway across the planet." So I don't know if you want to say the portal went through the planet or what, but it literally kind of did.
It depends on how they have that set up here. But if you're assuming that they're transferring from like through an astral plane, it wouldn't have to. It
wouldn't really matter.
Yeah, it'd be essentially the equivalent of a wormhole, where it's just connecting two dots,
right?
And like the space in between is just empty.
Yep, I agree.
You agree? So so it was that was pretty cool to find out. Not only did they move, I thought it was going to be a short distance, but an incredibly long distance. Yeah. I like Ryder's line. He's like, "I'm not even going to ask how we got here." He's just like, I don't get it.
We're already fallen wolves. I don't know. Just, it's fine.
It's fine. I can't even think about it.
Yeah, it's like one of those. He's like, you already said when it gets weird. When things start getting weird, that's when it's over. He's like, I'm not even gonna ask.
I'm just gonna let it go. So the new cave that Ezra and that they end up in, I guess, the new cave dwelling. It reminds Ezra of the Jedi Temple on Lothal. And we see the drawings of the people, and he says those are, people coming down. He says, well, those must be Jedi, and one even looks like Yoda on the ground.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, because I actually did to stop freeze frame to look at it and make sure I'm not missing, because Filoni loves to throw in little Easter eggs and stuff. So, and sure enough, one of the little drawings is a little Yoda with the ears and everything. So,
or at the very least, one of his species, sort of thing.
Right, exactly. And then Kanan goes, well, there's a message here for us. And I don't know, what do you guys think the message is? Because I'm not entirely clear yet what the message is. What do you guys think?
They're going to learn to transport to a different plane of existence.
You think so?
No, not really.
Okay.
It'd be a weird stretch, though, wouldn't it?
It's not.
We're just escaping this plane of reality. We're going to something else.
It's not entirely off the charts. I keep telling you guys about that Mortis trilogy in Clone Wars, and that's pretty much a different plane of existence. Yeah. So
yeah, it's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you think about it, Kanan was made a Jedi Knight in a different plane of existence.
Yeah.
So I mean, what if all that's connected, and that's why they're bringing him up, and that's why we're introduced to this, because because we don't see Kanan or anybody. Maybe that's why we don't see them, because in order to get away and get off this planet or whatever, they go through into this other plane of existence.
Yeah.
To escape everything.
Yeah. There was a part of me that thought for a brief second, I was like, did they die in the bombing? And
is this them just like playing out some purgatory?
Yeah, kind of. I was like, it did pop in my head and obviously that's not what happened, but still.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
So Kanan touches his wolf again. The wolf says his last name to him directly, and he goes. And that's when he makes the reveal that what I talked about last episode was that his given name was Caleb DUME. And so that he's obviously the wolf's talking about him, and that's where he says, well, the wolf has a deeper connection to the Force. Ezra's like, well, doesn't everything? And he's like, no, this is more focused, like it has purpose. So it's
which is funny, Brian, because you brought that up the first time we heard, and you're like, oh no, it's I was so, and I was like, you sure that's what he said? Like, I'm positive that's what he said. It's like, kudos to you, Brian, for catching that.
Thank you. Yes, as soon as I heard it, I was like, Doom. Where have I heard that before? Because I got the audiobook of New Dawn, which was the book that came out before all this, and sure enough, and they even have a comic book about the last Padawan or whatever, which is all about Caleb DUME becoming Kanan Jarrus. So yeah.
They released that around the time Rebels first started airing, I think.
Yeah, it was like within the first season or so, I believe. But yeah, it's and I've seen a few things online. I've never actually read one, but it looks pretty good. Something I want to check out anyway. But yeah, so and then Kanan goes further. He goes, the Empire must be doing something more than just a TIE defender here. He's like, something more sinister. What do you guys think that might be? Any ideas?
Well, I mean, at this point, you would be assuming they're either searching for materials for like a giant kyber crystal like they were before.
Okay. It's a good possibility.
Either that or it's going on to something just completely off the deep end that we're not going to see coming.
Yeah, what do you think, Brian?
Yeah, I don't know. Ezra did say that there, because we do know there was a Jedi temple there, which means that there is probably kyber crystals there.
Oh yeah.
So, but Kanan thinks it's more than just the crystals.
Yeah.
I think they're going to try to reach this like portal to get onto the other plane.
Yeah, that's what they're looking for. The Emperor's trying to...
Like they're going like full Stargate on it?
Yeah, like the Sith know about it.
Right.
And they know it's there because they know that's how maybe somebody got away or something. Like, we know it's there, we're going to try to find it. Maybe that's what they're trying to...
That's a good possibility, and if anything, if I was the Emperor, because I am a Sith Lord, if I make myself a Sith Master, so to speak, that... I'm going to try to find a way to extend my life, right? Because all I know and all I want is the physical plane. Yeah. That's all I think exists. So,
is it weird we actually haven't really seen the Emperor in the show?
Yes, and I think we'll get to that next podcast.
Okay.
So, but yeah, yeah. But yeah, it is interesting. But yeah, I just wonder if that's not what's going on. That you might be right, that maybe that the Emperor's looking for a way for immortality or
ultimate power,
and obviously the planet has an incredibly strong connection to the Force. If we're learning anything throughout this entire series, is Lothal is Force centric, or it's kind of like Dagobah.
Or at the very least, it's strong in it. But
yeah.
It could, like, if there's like a living Force, wouldn't it be essentially any planet that is actually like green and lush and like with life would essentially be deeply connected with a living Force?
Yeah, but even in the Clone Wars, they go to Dagobah, and because Yoda in the season 6, spoiler alert, by the way, And
I'm not really sure that's a spoiler alert, Brian.
well, it kind of is.
Not for Clone Wars.
It is It's a Clone Wars.
I mean, because that's like how many seasons ago?
Well, it's season 6. Okay. Well, just to be on the safe side.
I mean, that's like saying the shark dies in Jaws. I'm pretty sure everybody knows.
Well,
Never seen Jaws.
Just to be
spoiler alert.
Just to be safe.
It's fine. I wasn't going to watch it anytime soon.
Just to be safe in case you're listening.
Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert.
Flush the bombers, get the subs in launch mode. We are at
Spoiler alert.
All right, you've been warned. So, in the Clone Wars season 6, okay, Yoda is following the voice of Qui-Gon Jinn, and he leads him to Dagobah, and he says Dagobah, and Yoda makes the comment, the Force is very strong here, and even the Qui-Gon's voice says, well, it's one of the strongest places in all the universe. So it does bring up the other theory that there are Force nexuses, so to speak.
Right.
So
Force
essentially,
hot
there's essentially areas where the difference between the dimensions is thinner than others,
or stronger on one side and the other. Like there are some people,
so Dagobah, Lothal,
Jeddah, and there's also some people that would say that there are the opposite too. There's some for the dark side. Like some fans think like the remains of Alderaan because something so horrific happened there.
Are there remains of Alderaan?
Asteroids.
Well, I mean, you do see the Sith Temple earlier in Rebels.
Right,
I mean, that could be an argument for it.
Right, that there are places stronger with the dark side, and there are places stronger with the light side. So,
I'd be interested to see, the mythology and the mechanics of it, sort of thing.
It's never been fully explored.
I'd also like to see it on a map.
Yeah. Well, either it's a thing where you have the Force breaking through the astral plane and bringing energy there, or it's naturally collecting there in almost like a whirlpool sort of fashion.
Kind of. It could be either way, and that's where we get the whole living force, cosmic force thing we talked about. And but again, this whole Nexus thing, like people said, if you get to the remains of Alderaan, which is just a bunch of asteroids, true, but because something so horrific happened there, therefore the dark side might be stronger.
Well, the funny thing is, that's essentially the same, argument for, ghosts lingering on in the world. From a
something so horrific happened here,
almost like the dark memory of it just remains in some energetic sense,
right? And that's what they're getting at. I think it hasn't been fully explained. It's very in official canon. It's barely touched at all.
Yeah,
but people are making the connection.
Yeah,
So, but anyway, so we kind of got off on a tangent there. I apologize, but it was a good tangent. So yeah, he goes. Caleb Doom is my given name, and there's a deeper connection to the Force and
sinister.
The Empire is doing something more sinister here. And then this is where we get the line from the trailer: "All paths are coming together, but not we may not like where they lead." And then we get more where Ezra's just like, "Do we ever?" Well, sometimes yes, and sometimes no.
Or it's always a bit of both. This kind of worked out, but this part was really shitty. So it's always a mixed bag.
I'll tell you what, these last couple episodes made Kanan just seem like total idiot.
Well, I don't know about total idiot. It just seems like he's still trying to figure it out, And,
no, but I mean, yes and no.
Well, it's all about balance, and I feel like he's spent too much
coming together. What does that mean? I don't know.
I feel like he spent too much time with Yoda or something, and he's trying to be. I don't know.
Or he's trying to use Yoda-isms but doesn't know how.
Right, exactly.
I got
or
you.
Something along those lines. So the episode ends finally with Hera's return to Yavin 4 with the TIE Defender, gives it to Mon Mothma, and that's where the Kindred ends.
Which is also an awkward silence. It's just you know what I mean? It wasn't like a, thank you, this is going to go great, blah, 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 or whatever.
It was
just she just hands it. Yeah, she hands it, and then Mon Mothma looks at her, and Hera looks at her and gives that vague smile. It's
so it's a little more than the episode 7 ending.
Right, but it's what just happened?
Well, obviously they completed their mission,
Right.
All right, so let's pick right up with Crawler Commanders. Starting with they pick up the signal.
Scanning system.
Yeah. it did bother me a little bit that suddenly they found a transmitter and they suddenly had a speeder. But I did think about it for a second.
Just random people and equipment popping out of nowhere.
Well, I did pick up that Jai was Jai there or not? I don't think he was he? So again, where the hell did this shit come from?
They did say that they scrounged for it, which made sense for the transmitter because it looked old.
Right.
So I could see that being they scrounged for it and found it old. Yeah. However, how do you scrounge for a brand new speeder?
Bright green, shiny too.
This is weird, random.
I'm assuming this
they
is
stole it from a car lot.
I'm assuming this is a budget cut, and they just happened instead of making a crappy looking speeder, they pulled something they already had. I'm hoping.
Either that, or there's a backstory about them raiding a village, and
or they stole the rich guy's stuff. Rob give to the poor or something. I don't know. Anyway,
they just we could make a whole episode about them stealing this thing, but let's just move on.
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe there was a whole episode.
That's a good point, Aaron. Maybe I should just get over it and be done with it.
I don't know, but in terms of timeline, it really does seem like it picks up the next day.
So Sabine says that they can use she can boost the power, but it'll never get past the Empire jamming. But she does pick up something locally, and it's pretty close by. So they go on, they kind of scout and suddenly we see this giant looking, what looks to me like a sandcrawler out of A New Hope with the Jawas, except it's on fire and has engines. And
it just looks like a giant garbage truck.
Kind of, yeah, but that's not sort of sandcrawler is.
Garbage truck?
Yeah, kind of thing. They spot and see that Sabine says, "Oh, there's the long range transmitter, so that's what we need." Blah blah blah. So that's kind of pretty much that's. There's not really much more to it than that, unfortunately, to talk about.
No.
So moving on, analyzing, the rebels break down the TIE Defender Elite, because that's what it's called apparently, the new version, and they.
It's the Pro Series. It's like an extra $200.
Yeah,
it comes with a cup holder.
Yeah.
Well, General Andor comes to the
nice leather seats.
Comes to the conclusion that it's superior to their fighters in every way.
Yeah, they pretty much says in a one-on-one combat, there's no way we're winning in this.
Right, and it is a serious threat. But they're unsure if they want to attack because they're not sure it'll be successful. And again,
at the same time, though, if you don't attack and you just launch an entire fleet of those things,
precisely,
you're not going to win.
You're just kicking the can down the road, and they're going to kick your ass at some point with them.
Right, exactly.
And I hate this part. I can't. I've said this before, and I'll say it again.
Makes them seem weak.
Makes them seem weak. This is not the Rebel Alliance that I know, love, or that I thought was. And I know they're still coming together and all that crap.
You don't like the politics of them. You
I can't stand it.
Freedom! Ah!
Precisely. That is what the rebels were. They're there to fight the Empire.
Well, yeah. Even when we saw from what what ended up being the end of Rogue One, with a lot of people gave their lives for this.
Yeah.
We're thinking they're fighting the rebellion. Yes, people gave their lives, so let's get this. We're going to get it. And then to see what led up to it with, I don't think we should go, and then them go off by themselves to do it without anybody. It's wait a minute, what is going on here? The rebels we knew are not the rebels we knew.
I know, it's just I can't stand the politics. In fact, it's making me glad that what's his name, Leia's stepdad, Senator. I can't remember his last name. That's terrible.
It's Organa.
Organa, yeah. That Senator Organa actually dies, when they blow up Alderaan. I'm glad he's dead, because all he ever talks about is we're not ready.
Yeah,
we're totally not ready. We're not ready at all. Shut up, grow a pair of balls.
Though, you're a Rebel Alliance, man. You're never going to have the force to equal your own country unless you actually.
I know they have
spending up hundreds of years building up your own fighting force.
I know you have to choose and pick your battles, especially because of how limited their resources are. I get
but when
that.
you see something if that's operational, we're just fucked.
I just I don't know. I just don't like to see that side of it. I would prefer not to see it at all, to be honest.
You just want it to be romanticized and be all Bravehearty.
Yeah, because in my mind, that's what I grew up, man. Well, when you're a kid, you got those, you got Darth Vader in one hand, and you've got the rebels in the other, Luke Skywalker.
I'm always amazed by how often you guys use action figures as an analogy for how you relate to this.
Well, that was our childhood, man. That's part of what we loved. It was Star Wars, G.I. Joe.
That's also one of the reasons I find it funny. Like your favorite characters are like Darth Vader and Boba Fett, like the ones that just have like really cool armor. Like it may not have necessarily had the best storyline.
Well, that they had to make a good storyline for Boba Fett, or at least they tried, because they sold so many action figures. But
they really didn't give Boba Fett that great story.
Well, they, like I said, tried, but nevertheless. So but yeah, I know Egg's a big Boba Fett fan.
Yeah.
Still is.
It's just the armor, though.
And that is probably right. It is probably the armor, the look of him with like the visor,
and
everything
he's got
else.
like cool weapons.
Yeah,
and shit.
and his toy had that rocket
pack
that
that popped. Yeah,
so you just kind of
but he has like
you could point him. It's like it was one of the first ones that had something that shot, and you're like, "That's awesome."
Yeah,
he has a spring.
It doesn't matter,
right? But all the other
up to that point.
To your point. All the other action figures were just action figures.
Yeah.
Boba Fett came with a backpack that had a rocket on it that could shoot. So if you got to be Boba Fett, all of a sudden your guy can fly. Nobody else's can fly because they don't have. Even if they tried, you're like, nope, you don't have a jetpack. You can't fly.
Exactly. And I can blast you with my rocket and blow you up.
I mean, there's some characters that have force abilities. Like they can do like super big jumps. Is that not helpful?
No, because we didn't when we were younger. We didn't have any of that.
Well, I mean, yeah, the one person that would always fight about Boba Fett would be the Jedi. Yeah, he would always be Skywalker or maybe an old Ben. I don't know, whatever he had, or maybe even you put him up against Darth Vader. But I mean that's what you did, and that was part of the love of. That was part of falling in love with Star Wars was the action, the toys.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. But anyway, seizing the crawler. Moving on. So they pretty much easily take out some mining guild security droids relatively quickly. Sabine does anyway. They get into the control room, and that's where they meet Captain Seevor. Even though they never say his name, that is his name. He's also voiced by Seth Green. So Seth Green makes his appearance again in Rebels,
which I was really disappointed. I'm like when I heard he was going to be voiced by Seth Green, I'm like, cool, it'll be Seth Green, and then you listen to him and you're like, oh, it's Seth Green doing a voice.
What's the matter, Brian?
Yeah,
didn't like it?
No, it sucked.
I actually thought it was fine. It was meant to be like a character.
Well, yeah, I know. I mean, but it was one of those things. Like I was looking forward to because I'm a big Seth Green fan. I'm like, cool, it's gonna be Seth Green, and you're like watching, you're like.
Well, I mean, it's not like you're going to get like stoner comedy from like idle hands.
No, I know, but I enjoy listening to Seth Green, like even when he was on shows, when he was on Buffy, when he was on all those different
this
things.
Isn't that far off from some of the stuff he's done in Robot Chicken.
Correct. I haven't watched all of Robot Chicken, but it's one of those things where it's like I recognize his voice, kind of like when I'm listening to Kanan, I can hear Freddie Prinze Jr.
Yeah. Even you said that ruined it for me when I told you it was Freddie Prinze Jr. You're like,
yeah,
that's all I see now.
I know exactly. Like I at first I was like, oh, okay, this is cool, blah blah blah, and you're like, hey, just so you know,
wasn't there a movie they were both in at one point?
It's Freddie Prinze Jr. And I'm like, really? And then that's all I can see now is Freddie Prinze Jr. doing this, and I'm like, oh, okay. And it's funny because not to get off really off topic, but all the Buffy connections now.
Oh yeah, they're prevalent.
Yeah, it's just kind of funny.
Yep,
Seth just Green. The Buffyverse.
Yeah,
the Buffyverse spread out into voice.
So what you're expecting is just Disney to be like, let's just do a Buffy animated show. Why not?
Oh, that'd be so awesome. Especially if they got Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Well, they could do it easily. They got
David Boreanaz. Yeah. To do Angel, and
it wouldn't be hard to do probably.
Although they couldn't get Xander anymore because I think he's in jail for domestic violence or something.
No, it's Disney. They got lawyers. They could get him out.
Yeah, I mean, it's
not
just
to go off into my Buffy tangent.
It'd be weird to put it on Disney, but whatever.
Anyway,
at least I think so.
Who knows, man? All right, so they quickly take care of Captain Seevor, but not before he activates his distress button. But luckily they've got Ezra, who does a pretty good Seth Green as a lizard.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not really,
but it was close. In the very beginning, it was close. It got worse as it went farther and farther. In the very beginning, you're like, "Oh, that's actually pretty good."
That's right.
It's just funny, like you can see him clamping onto his throat, trying to like make it sound more hoarse.
Yeah. What's the matter?
I'm sick.
All right, so I think I got into engineering, but I think it's actually the core reactor room.
Yep.
They run into Vizago, apparently. Vizago was apparently forced into mining guild slavery for helping the rebels.
Yeah.
Right.
They took his pigs.
Took his ship. Took his pigs. No more puffer pigs. And he thinks they came to rescue him. And I love Kanan. He's like, yeah, man. Of
course we did.
Of course we did. Sure.
Couldn't leave you, guy.
Yeah, look at you. Yeah, there you are.
I told them you were my friends and you were thought I was special.
Yeah, he keeps talking about, see, my friends, they're here.
I mean, like, dude seemed pretty excited about it. He didn't want to break his heart.
Well, yeah, I guess if you're stuck as a slave and you...
Yeah.
Oh, freedom!
And that's your one hope, too. Like, you're thinking to yourself, my friends will come get me. They're my friends. They'll come get me.
Of course they'll come. Yeah.
Which I thought actually wasn't his. I thought it was a whatchamacallit line. Who's the other guy we like?
Hondo.
I really thought that felt like a Hondo line.
He's very close to Hondo now. Vizago is. Yeah, there's not much difference at this point.
Well, I think Hondo's a bit more funny.
Hondo is much more funny, but right now this version of Vizago we have at the moment is very Hondo-esque.
Yes, it is very much so.
Yeah. They encounter the foreman. Which is a large Trandoshan. So is Seth Green's. His was just a little bit of a smaller, slightly different, I guess. But he's a larger one. He looks very much like Bosk, the bounty hunter from Empire Strikes Back. For those of you who, the reptilian bounty hunter.
Mm-hmm. Now, what if this was a relative
of Bosk?
And that's why Bosk goes and tries to become a bounty hunter to hunt down the rebels.
Ooh, maybe. It's
like his uncle.
The deeper meaning.
Look at Brian expanding his mind in the universe.
Uncle Foreman will be avenged.
But yeah. So and the cool thing about him is he has an electro whip, which he manages to disarm Kanan with, which is pretty effective. I mean, takes out his
Quick
lightsaber.
question: is anyone actually hoping that does pop up in like a live action film at some point?
Yes, I do.
That does seem like it'd be kind of a cool addition.
It's a badass looking thing. Other than I think Brian, you called it the Wonder Woman thing of truth or whatever.
Yeah,
but
lasso
of truth. But it is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I was really hoping Zeb would keep it, too, at the end of the episode.
Yeah, and like he rolls it up on his hip like Indiana Jones.
Yeah, I was like, damn. It doesn't happen. But yeah.
Maybe you'll see it a few episodes down. Just be like, oh, I'm glad I kept this memento.
Yeah, I mean, like they have to get across some kind of ravine, and he throws it up there, and they swing across.
Yeah, it'd be fucking...
And you get that little background music of Indiana Jones.
Yeah, that would be sweet.
I mean...
Because it is Disney,
both, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they own it. Why not? But yeah, he's very effective with it. He disarms Kanan. He wraps Kanan in it, and luckily Zeb comes to the rescue. The whole fight scene between Zeb and the foreman was pretty cool. It
actually was a pretty decent fight scene.
I thought it was part Indiana Jones and part wrestling.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you definitely have a lot of things where it's shot like the same you would for a wrestling movie.
Yeah, I mean...
Because you have them like clashing and they're like head to head.
Head to head.
So you go for that like from like the blow shot sort of thing.
The foreman suplexes Zeb.
Yeah.
Which I was like,
it's
okay.
clearly taking a lot of heavy inspiration from
hitting the head against the pole. I was like, oh man, I'm watching WWE.
Yeah, it's like the same thing you would have like in the corner.
Yeah, exactly.
The other thing I thought was kind of interesting between this fight was that they both could use all four limbs.
Yeah, which was cool.
And
you see Zeb more or less punching with like his feet.
Punching with his feet. The whatchamacallit does this almost the same thing where he's he's holding back and he kicks him and everything else, and they're in the ground. They're underneath the walkway and they're punching each other. They're holding on with one hand and punching the other. Yeah,
it was pretty sweet, dude. It was like, and honestly, the foreman was pretty much an equal match for Zeb, really. Yeah, all the way up to the end, which was cool because it was muscle against muscle, and yeah, it was a nice wrestling match.
You know what else was I liked about this was the fight. There wasn't a lot of walking, so we didn't have to get that awkward Zeb motion.
No, but they used it really well.
It was very fluid with him being able to use his arms and move.
He used his legs to pull him down.
Yeah,
which was very Batman, original Batman '89-esque. But yeah, it was very cool. So we switch back to the council meeting. The rebels are worried about a little thing. Not only are they worried about this TIE Defender, but they're also worried, apparently, Mon Mothma says, about Protocol 13 is being enacted by the Empire, which apparently is the immediate evacuation of occupied worlds, which got me... An occupied world. So, got me thinking, hit my memory, went, aha! Rogue One. What happens in Rogue One? They evacuate Jeddah. Right before they blow up the city. So... have the rebels gotten forward of that, and just are we at Rogue One, or are we in the Rogue One timeline? The only thing that hasn't happened that doesn't support this theory is we haven't seen Saw Gerrera get hurt enough where he has to wear his breathing apparatus. So,
quick question: in Rogue One, during the earlier scenes when you first see Saw, when the one woman steal the child, does he have the breathing apparatus?
No,
okay.
He does not. So
it's only right before Rogue One that we know he does have that.
Well, it's like right as when we meet him in Jeddah. That's when we know he's got one foot, one robotic foot, and then he's got the whole breathing apparatus. And he's like, "There's not much of me left," you know.
Yeah. Which is, and that's the other reason why this doesn't fit timeline wise for me, because we know from that Saw Gerrera had that for a while.
Seemed like it anyway.
I mean, he seemed very comfortable with it.
Yeah,
and you could tell that he had put the oxygen mask numerous times, the way that it was worn and stuff.
Yeah,
and like you said, we haven't seen it yet in Rebels.
He wasn't getting around real well though, so it is.
And that's what I'm saying.
Possible.
So it seems like he had it for a while,
maybe, or it just had happened, and that's why he's taking so long to get places. But it could be both ways. I don't know.
It'd be kind of disappointing if you're just like, oh yeah, no, he just lost his foot because he was diabetic.
That
would be super disappointing, right?
No, that's not going to happen. But
he has breathing problems. Like he just got old.
We aren't going to win because my sugar levels are low.
I just think part of me thinks we are in the Rogue One has already started, but yet because we haven't seen the thing happen to Saul, we're not quite there yet. But we're getting damn close because they already have reports of evacuating an occupied planet.
Well, they just heard it get sent out. That doesn't mean it has happened yet. So.
Right. So
earlier in one of the previous seasons, we do see that one planet that's essentially been destroyed and wiped out. That was like a factory planet, right?
That was Geonosis, but they didn't really blow anything up. They just
they wiped off the inhabitants.
The inhabitants. They kind of went through.
So it could be a similar incident to that.
Right. It's definitely beyond that, but
because really we just know that they're leaving said occupied planet. We don't know how they're. What they plan to do to the regular occupants or anything else.
Right, but I think the fact that they go out of their way to bring it up is a clue that they're trying to give us. It's just
it's meant to be a hint of something down there.
And how did they find out what Protocol 13 means?
I guess they just
spies.
I guess.
You know what? Callus probably.
Well, that could be too. There you go.
Book. It's like Emperor's Handbook.
Empire for Dummies.
Yeah, exactly.
What does Protocol 13 mean? Evacuate planet. Holy crap!
Oh, an occupied planet.
Did you guys read page 25?
We are so fucked. Anyway, so Hera barges into the council and basically pushes Senator Organa to the side and gives her big speech. And,
Fuck off, hologram. It's my turn to talk.
Now's the time to strike, essentially. It was a good speech. I'm just, last few words, time to strike.
Yep.
That's pretty much all there is. So moving on, the Empire inspects the crawler. It looks like his beacon was enough for them to send a couple bands of stormtroopers out.
Yeah, well, apparently the mining goes like, we could send our own people, but there's Empire on the planet. Just let them do it.
Right, exactly. So they're coming, and they decide to use Vizago as their acting captain, and they use Zeb as the foreman, who has the whip, of course. And they basically just convince the troopers not much is going on. They're successful in that, and then Sivo, however, escapes, which is lucky for them because if he had just stayed in the damn
they would have found
back room, they would have found him, and that would have been it. So
because Vizago was like, gone. I mean, there's nothing there.
Which is another Hondo kind of moment. But we find out that Sivo has escaped through the ventilation shafts and threatens to blow up the whole crawler. Which they send, Kanan and Zeb try to get into the refinery room again, but he sealed it. Somehow Kanan knows it's magnetically sealed, even though he's blind.
He can feel the
force of the magneticity. That's it. Yeah.
It's not just the living force of the cosmic force, but also the magnetic force.
Yeah. I mean, gravity still works here too.
Yeah. Well, there is still some physics in fantasy sci-fi land. So they send Ezra in. Back, he has to go through the ventilation shafts like he used to, and he doesn't want to. And even he says, "I don't do this anymore."
He has got a bit of a growth spurt.
That's what I was going to say. Now he's much bigger than what he was before.
So it's a lot tighter. He's got like wiggle a little differently.
Yeah. It was funny though, just to see him do it was like old times. I thought, but a decent but very short battle between Sivo and Ezra. A good fight. But in the end, he slips on Ezra's lightsaber and falls into the refinery furnace, which Ankerbauer, you think might be Ezra not being very Jedi-like.
Oh yeah, I mean, because he saw it there before he stepped on it, and it looked like he was getting ready to say, watch out. Instead, he just lets him do it, lets him fall in,
right.
And then goes, watch out. Like it was like. That is so not a Jedi thing. That is so maybe not so much dark side as gray, the gray area.
It's definitely gray.
You expect more from like a rogue or a pirate sort of thing.
Yeah, but it definitely is not a Jedi thing because a Jedi's there to save lives unless it's you can't. I mean, and Sivo was not a threat, so
but he did try to kill him.
But he wasn't a threat. Like you could tell he wasn't a threat.
Yeah,
and it was just one of those things like.
Use the Force to save him from going in.
Exactly. Like, he didn't do anything. He just lets him fall and goes, watch out. Like, that was kind of dark.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like, oh, well, you're kind of a pain in the ass. Let's just nature.
And he does have a smirk on his face the whole time, like he's enjoying watching this guy's been pain in the ass go.
So after I said that, didn't you notice when you're watching it?
Yeah. Yeah, you have a slight point. I don't think it's full on, like, dark.
Right,
dark
it's
side.
not dark side like with the whatchamacallit.
With the eyes and everything, but
yeah, what was the triangle
thing?
What was the triangle thing? Holocron,
yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't like that.
No.
But it was definitely like one of those, like, the gray area where you're just like, yeah, go ahead and kill yourself. Oh, watch out.
Oh, no.
Yeah, no, don't do it, no.
It could be. I mean, he does take a little bit of pleasure, and that is something a Jedi... It's not a Jedi trait, per se. All right, so finale of the episode, they get the signal out to Hera. They get some new recruits with the slaves who are going to follow the big purple guy, which is Zeb.
Yeah, we'll follow the big purple beast.
Yeah.
But they weren't, like... They weren't skilled technicians. It was just random people.
Well, they kind of...
4 random people, whatever it was. But it was just like, huh, okay.
Well the rebels understood how to run the ship, so...
I guess so. So I guess they could be kind of laborers.
Whatever they want to use that for.
Yeah.
And the rebels are a little short-handed on Lothal, so I think anything...
Any general labor's fine.
Quick, give them pitchforks and crowbars!
What about torches? You forgot the torches.
Yeah, torches. Torches, too.
Must have torches. All right. And they make Vizago captain of the crawler.
Correct.
So, at some point, I'm sure we'll see him again.
So, he did get his own ship.
He did. He's now a crawler commander, Captain Vizago again.
Mm-hmm.
Hera finally responds to their message. They get a message out to her. She responds. She says, the fighters are being fueled and the bombers are loaded. We're going to attack the Lothal factory.
Right, and Ezra's all happy because he's like...
Finally.
The attack's going to happen? The battle's going to happen?
Yeah.
Yes, and I told my Mothra that you would coordinate the ground attack.
You can count on us.
Yep.
Yeah. It's so things are set up. We're finally going to see the attack on Lothal,
which I think we're being set up. I think it's a setup for a failure.
Probably.
Yeah, I think it's a setup for a failure
with Thrawn on board. Yeah, more than likely. But nevertheless, we'll see what happens. All right, guys. So we've gone through this We've gone through this both these episodes at nauseam almost. So let's go right to final thoughts and grades. All right, Aaron, your final thought and grade let's start with Kindred, and then we'll do Crawler Commanders after. So first, let's do a round of Kindred. Your final thought.
I think they're both a solid B.
Okay.
Not to go out of order too
much. No, that's fine.
But yeah, I mean they're both decent episodes. They both add to like kind of the plot line. They both with Kindred, you definitely see like some more of the mystical stuff, the more Jedi stuff. Mm-hmm. You definitely see where it goes into it. And it really kind of adds to like kind of the background of the universe a little bit as well. And with Crawler Commander, we have some funny moments, some decent fight scenes, and like it's an overall fast-moving plot, for the episode.
Okay. I will go off and say I liked Kindred a lot better than I like Crawler Commanders. I'll give Kindred an A, maybe even an A+, just because of the Force, the mysticism of the Force, the revealing of new things in the Force. the Force portal, obviously, the wolves and the connection to the Force, the connection to Kanan. Loved all that stuff. Loved the introduction of Rook, whatever you want to say, and how they animated him. So I really liked the first episode. Loved Kindred. Crawler Commanders, not as much. It's still necessary for the bigger picture of the story, but it's more. It almost feels like a side story. But it did have good action. It was still fun. So I give that about a B to B plus, somewhere in that range. Brian?
Yeah, I like Kindred. Each one of these episodes, Kindred and the Crawler episode, they both have their good points, both have their bad points. I really like the whole adding to the Force with the cave paintings and the walking through the portal and everything else. Some of the funnier spots, like the humor in it was good. I'm going to go back to something we've talked about, in seasons past. These episodes are so short.
Yes.
And even though we're getting
an hour,
because we're getting 2 episodes at once.
Yeah.
Like Kindred could have been so much longer.
Oh yeah.
And we would have been entertained because of the cave paintings, and even if they did kind of like a flashback scene, right? So they pan up to the
touch the wall,
pan up to the drawings, then you kind of see what happened to cause those, even if it's just like whatchamacallit, even like Moana. Okay, so like where his where his tattoos show what happens, or
like they did with the Mandalorian and the Jedi. Yeah.
Right, so you can see what happens, and even if it's just like really rustic drawings, you see the drawings move and stuff like that.
Right.
I think that would have added to this episode. So the length of these need to be so much longer, especially since it's the last season and they're trying to fit it all in.
Right.
Overall, for me, combining both episodes, because that's what I'm kind of doing, because we're getting 2 per week. Right. I would give it definitely a solid B. Maybe for me, even pushing it to the B plus, because we get to see a lot of action stuff.
Oh yeah.
There were some good vehicle moments in these. We got to see a little bit of the lightsaber in the beginning with Rook, and when they come over the hill and they're like, "It's Ezra, shoot, blast him," and he's kind of doing that.
Yeah.
So I give it a B plus.
Okay, excellent. Okay, so real quick, where can you find 4 Midwest Guys? It's real simple. It's one-stop shopping. You type in the number 4, then you type out MidwestGuys.com. So again, that's the number 4, MidwestGuys.com. Again, the number 4, MidwestGuys.com. There you will find links to our iPad, to our iTunes, Facebook, our Twitter account, Podbean account. There's links there. So you can follow, subscribe. All of our podcasts are there in chronological order, and they're also categorized at the top. You click the links, and it'll take you to everything. So if you just want Star Wars Rebels, click Star Wars Rebels, and every episode is there in chronological order. If you just want, say, our Marvel DC Kings, you click Marvel DC Kings. If you just want we have 2 different Game of Thrones podcasts. One being the Night's Watch. Click the Night's Watch, and you get just that podcast. So it's one-stop shop. Again, it's the number 4, MidwestGuys.com. All right. Well, Brian, thanks for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me. Hey, another thing we did tonight, we haven't done yet, but I wanted to try to start doing a little more social media stuff.
Okay.
I did post a couple of pictures of us doing the podcast tonight on Instagram, which is, I believe it's at Angstone. I'll have to double check that because I haven't actually used my Instagram account till tonight.
Okay.
Except for a couple other pictures we've done before in the past. The other thing I did is I Periscope for a little bit for our beginning of our episode.
Oh, okay.
So they can get a feel for where we're at right now before we get to move into our new studio.
Woo! It's coming. Sometime.
But yeah, so you go catch us on all these different platforms, media platforms, wherever you like to go. Be sure to check us out.
Absolutely. All right, and Aaron, thanks for joining us. Yep. And this is B. Willie saying, "May the Force be with you always."